Alright, you ready? Okay. In the finest tradition of Steve Martin, I was born a poor brown otter, and instead of a silver spoon was issued into my mouth was a drumstick neatly placed. Whilst making it different for kissing and difficult even by my doting mother seen here, the constant warmth, support, and incessant clapping for fish made my early life a constant barrage of rhythm and sound. Yes, my childhood was utterly amazing. Ah, little Robbie, my nuclear family that caused such a volcanic eruption. Dad, a world-famous horn player dubbed the New England Benny Goodman, featured with Bunny Berrigan, Paul Whiteman, and the like, the Michael Jackson equivalent of the 40s. Mom, a Phi Beta Kappa, 5-year all-scholarship Syracuse graduate, and brother Neil, seen here as the Cub of Scouts. Two differing modes of my personal expression. My first painting at 5, a self-portrait no doubt. Robbie the Robot, at the time of the Forbidden Planet movie, left a deep impression as I established my identity. The second picture is the effect of the thinking 12 years later as the unlimited weight class had me continue to wrestle with who I was. Yes, friends, the real beginning of my public persona is Rob the Drummer. On the left is the great Carol Spinney, true-to-life identity and the soul of Big Bird. Being in the nest with this fellow and Gordon, Maria, Oscar the Grouch, and Snuffleupagus was in truth totally mind-blowing. This would be followed by appearances on Nickelodeon, Kids World, Romper Room, MTV, Entertainment Tonight, and the like. And the newest show, Ariel, Zoe, and Eli 2 on NBC and PBS stations, where two identical twin girls and their younger brother travel to the planet of Robopolis to visit their mentor, Rob the Drummer. The first shots of Rob the Drummer character, the idea of a mnemonic, a memory trigger, an image of a primal drummer, powerful yet positive, strong yet sensitive, intrigued me and helped me to believe that my high honors triple independent major in psychology, philosophy, and music would actually be something I could make use of rather than playing rock and roll for self-medicated audiences. So, the Bible of all drumming media, Modern Drummer Magazine, decides to do an article on me, and I decide to give them a picture that few drummers would conceive or even be able to execute. This same one is now emblazoned on my Rob the Drummer motorcycle like the Doc Savage or Sky King of the olden days. Alright, I get a call from someone at one of the TV channels asking me if I want to ride one of the Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey elephants from the Hartford Rail Yard to the Hartford Civic Center. What am I going to say? No? I'm 13 feet in the air on top of the world's largest land mammal, holding onto its ears so as not to fall off and completely lose my cool. Good, this was a joy. Yes, this is Rob the Drummer and the real Lone Ranger, Clayton Moore. They brought him in from California to a used car lot in Brantford as a promotion, and I got my little hiney down there and spent some quality time with him. Through the years, I would call him on the phone to that hero that I sat glued to the TV to see, and he'd say with that voice, "Hello, Rob." Yeah. Famous folks. I'm a guest star at the Buck Jones Rangers of America Festival, a cowboy who rode the horse Silver before the Lone Ranger. I'm seen here with famous movie actors Henry Brandon and Anthony Caruso, who are also guests. And the second picture is that of Louis Bellson, who along with Krupa and Buddy Rich were the finest of their time. He was a dear friend for many years. Yes, his master's voice, arguably the greatest drummer of all time, Buddy Rich. The inset is that of his daughter, Kathy. When I first got my license, I would go to Boston frequently to see him play, and each night he would try to go beyond his own limits, becoming more than some of its parts. He called me Bobby and let pictures like this be published in all the drumming magazines of both of us. A nice moment with the great Wynton Marsalis, probably the preeminent trumpeter of our time, our Satchmo. Through Lincoln Center's jazz program for high schools, I got to spend days with him. As West Hartford's jazz program consistently wins national competitions, and my students were the drummers, Wynton opened my PBS documentary, a great honor for me. Yes, friends, Rob the Drummer as a mummer. I get a call from some corporation asking me if I would play drums looking like this, God knows why, but I'm sure it had to deal with some New Orleans or street beat themes. The combination of making a spectacle of myself and making large amounts of money enticed me, even though playing and all that was a real challenge, no doubt. The Stanley Cup, yes, the real Stanley Cup. I played the party for the winning team of that year with the expansion teams, and it had just begun, as I remember, with some really good musicians from Massachusetts. And yes, I drank champagne out of it. We all did. I couldn't resist, even if it was not the most hygienically smart thing to be doing. Yes, the NAMM show in California, the world's largest music show. All the instrument manufacturers and all the artists that they endorse. Rob the Drummer is supported by some 35 companies and was given the honor and privilege of physically moving this huge taiko drum with the members of the legendary group Ondakoza. In this case, the phrase, "it weighs a ton," was fairly accurate. The stuff that dreams are made of, world connections, playing at Disneyland, and performing my trademark pro-arts, pro-sports, anti-substance abuse, self-esteem shows in Belgium and Russia. The drums, nonverbal, primal, the great equalizer of all ages and languages. In the bottom right picture, I was the Grand Marshal for the first Beatlemania Festival in Russia. Pure People Harmony. Taken this year, the fellow on the left, Hyde Sherodian, was responsible for the beginning of Rob the Drummer, asking me to his classroom in 1976 to just speak and play some drums, and then I just watch what happens. On my right, Vahe, who just passed, a fine Armenian percussionist. When you bond strongly with folks like this, you take some of their energy and legacy with you wherever you go. Taken at the Mohegan Sun Wolfden, 19-year-old Desiree Bassett with our band The Time Machine. A killer guitar player from Ashford. Desi studied 6 to 8 hours a day since she was 12 and is now the lead guitar player for the Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson Immortal Tour. She's the kind of role model kids need to see, and I'm proud to continue to support her all the way. Two faces of the modern Rob the Drummer. In my upcoming 5-week, 60-show Michigan tour, my crew and I expect to perform for approximately 40,000 kids of all ages in what is arguably the poorest state in the Union. For me, I am Clark Kent, putting on the garb of a Superman to help fight the inner battles that so many are facing. This is what I do best. In conclusion, two wonderful occasions. Rob the Drummer performs for the 4th time at the White House, meeting First Lady Laura Bush this time, and as keynote performer for the World Scholar Athlete Games for 2,500 youth, the largest international gathering, 150 nations, other than the Olympics, that is held in the United States. Onward and upward, you know me now.